You know how it goes. You tell yourself, I'll walk away when I'm up a little. Next thing you know, you've lost $600 chasing 50. And you know better. You're smart. You're logical. But when you open up that app or walk into that casino, it's like a switch just flips inside you. You stop thinking. You turn into a robot. If you know that feeling, that sense that you lose yourself the second you start gambling, you are not alone. It's not because you lack willpower, and it's not because you lack intelligence. As an addiction counselor specializing in gambling, I talk to a lot of smart, disciplined people. But when gambling becomes an addiction, it goes beyond intelligence and willpower. These systems are engineered to override the rational brain, reprogram the emotional brain that actually drives our behavior. So in this video, I'll reveal how this works by sharing the 5 biggest lies the gambling industry sells you, keeping you trapped longer than you ever thought possible. Because once you see the lies for what they are, you can finally start to break free. Lie number 1, gambling makes you feel powerful. Think back to what was going on in your life when gambling started to become a problem. Maybe you felt stuck. Maybe life felt overwhelming. Maybe the world felt chaotic. And that one bet gave you a flash of certainty, a rush of power, a moment where you felt like you were calling the shots. But that feeling of power and control, it's a trap. Because the longer you gamble, the more powerless you actually become. Because you don't control the machine, you don't control the odds, and you don't even control the urge anymore. It's like becoming a robot stuck in a program you didn't write, chasing outcomes you can't control for a reward that never really comes. Gambling promises you control, but it actually steals it. And it doesn't matter how much you prepare, it doesn't matter how much you know going in. Once you're in it, and once the dopamine hits, the logic shuts off and the cycle takes over. And if you're stuck in that cycle, it's not because you're weak. One of the biggest lies the gambling industry sells you is that you are in control. You hear it everywhere now. Gamble responsibly, know your limits, stay in control. But these messages are only relevant for new and recreational gamblers. Once gambling becomes an addiction, control is gone. It's not about more willpower. It's not about more discipline. It's about a system designed to hijack your brain's reward circuits, override your logic, and trap you in a loop. But luckily, you can take your power back. And it starts by seeing through this illusion of control, letting go, and setting up boundaries so you can regain real control over your life rather than just the illusion of it. Lie number 2, gambling will make you a winner. Have you ever told yourself just one big win, then I'm done? You imagine a clean ending. You picture yourself cashing out, proud, walking away a winner. Just like the images portrayed in the glamorous ads of people striking it big. But if you've ever lived it, if you've ever hit that big win, you already know the truth. It's never enough. Maybe you win 500, maybe you win 5,000, and for a moment, it feels amazing. Like you beat the system, like you finally got what you came for. But then something shifts. The high starts to fade. And almost without thinking, you start chasing again. Not out of desperation this time, but out of mere optimism and the fact that it feels like free money anyway. You think, maybe I can double it. Maybe this is just the beginning. Maybe today's my lucky day. And before you even realize it, you're right back in the trap, risking everything you just won and usually losing even more. Because when you gamble, the goalposts always move. It's not about the money anymore. It's about chasing a feeling, that rush, that high, that sense of invincibility. And the truth is, there's no finish line. There's no magic moment where you finally win enough to feel satisfied and walk away forever. Any win is a future loss. The reality is that gambling companies don't want you to win and leave. They design their incentive offers to prevent this from happening. They want you to win just enough to believe it's possible and then lose everything chasing it again. And that's the trap. You don't just gamble to win money. You gamble to chase a feeling. And that feeling is a bottomless pit. And once you see that, you can finally let go and stop chasing something that was never going to set you free. Lie number 3, gambling makes life more fun. Another huge lie the industry sells you is that gambling makes life more exciting. You see it in every advertisement. Excitement, flashing lights, champagne pouring, heart-pounding action. They sell you a fantasy that gambling will make your life bigger, brighter, more alive. But the truth they never show you is that in the long run, gambling doesn't make your life more exciting. It actually makes everything else feel more boring. Because the more you chase those dopamine spikes, the more you depend on artificial highs, the more numb and restless you become in everyday life when you're not gambling. Regular life starts to feel flat. Hanging out with friends, watching a movie, spending time with family, it all feels dull, empty, like there's this constant itch you can't scratch. And it's not because your life is necessarily boring. It's because your brain has been trained to expect extreme highs from gambling, and everything else feels like a letdown in comparison. So you chase another bet, chase another hit, and try to recapture that rush, but the highs keep getting shorter and the crashes keep getting harder. Until one day you realize the thing that was supposed to make life more exciting has actually drained the excitement out of everything else you used to love. Gambling doesn't add color to your life, it drains it. And the longer you chase that fantasy, the further away you get from things that bring real joy. Line number 4, Gambling helps you feel connected. Another lie the gambling industry sells you is this: gambling brings people together. You see it everywhere. In the ads, in promotions, even in casual conversations. The commercials show groups of friends high-fiving after a big win. The apps show you live leaderboards, competitions, community pools. The message is clear. Everyone's doing it, and you don't want to miss out. And slowly, it starts to feel normal. Not gambling feels like you're sitting on the sidelines. Betting on the game, spinning the reels, placing that parlay, it feels like it makes you part of something bigger than yourself. The truth they never show you is that gambling doesn't bring connection. It brings isolation. Because the deeper you go into gambling, the more you start hiding. When everyone else is placing their $10 bet and you're betting over 10 times that, you start to hide it because you don't want the questions or the judgment. Then you hide the losses. You hide the debt. You hide the shame that grows after every slip up, every secret, and every lie you tell to cover it up. Eventually, it's no longer about sharing laughs with friends. You're making excuses, you're dodging calls, you're disappearing from the people who care about you the most. Gambling promised connection, but it delivers exactly the opposite: loneliness, secrecy, and shame. And the more you try to chase that feeling you thought gambling would give you, the more isolated and disconnected you actually become. Lie number 5. Gambling will make you feel special. At first, you might not even notice it. It starts small. A little pride when you predict a winner, a little thrill when you feel smarter than the odds, and slowly it sinks deeper. Every bet becomes more than just a bet. It feels like a mission, a quest to prove yourself. And it's not about the money anymore. It's about feeling sharp, strategic, special. And for a while, it worked. You feel alive chasing the next win. You feel important planning your next move. You feel different from everyone else, like you've tapped into something they don't understand. But here's the truth. Gambling doesn't build your self-esteem. It hijacks it. Because the longer you chase the next win, the more your self-worth gets tangled up in something you can't control. And your mood starts to depend on whether you just won or lost. You start measuring your value by your last bet. And you start confusing the size of your wins with the size of your worth. And when the losses come, they don't just hit your wallet. They hit you. They whisper that you're a failure, that you're weak, that you're broken. The same system that made you feel powerful at the start is the one that leaves you constantly doubting yourself. Gambling promises you everything: control, connection, freedom. But it delivers the opposite. It traps you in a cycle that ends one way: more losses, more shame, more isolation. And the longer you stay trapped, the harder it is to remember who you really are. But this is not the end. You are not broken. You are not powerless. The system is rigged against you, but you still have a choice. If you're ready to break free from the grip of gambling, you can apply for one-on-one support with me at the link below. And if this has opened your eyes, we've only scratched the surface. In this next video, I sit down with a lawyer who reveals the dark psychology behind the VIP programs and the manipulative marketing practices designed to keep you chasing losses. I'll see you there.